Lean in close, for what I'm about to reveal goes beyond ordinary teachings on empaths and spiritual gifts. This is the hidden truth of the most powerful, most misunderstood beings walking the earth today. The Heyoka Empaths. You've always known you were different, haven't you? But not just sensitive different, not just empathic different. Your difference seems to defy reality itself. When others cry, you find yourself laughing. When the world celebrates, you feel an inexplicable sadness. When others rush forward, something in you pulls you backward. These aren't flaws or mistakes. They're signs of an ancient, sacred power awakening within you. The lightning mark, my beautiful seekers. Let me share with you the deepest truth about your awakening. In the Dakota tradition, Heyokas were marked by lightning, chosen through dreams, visions, and sometimes literal strikes from thunder beings. But understand this, lightning consciousness isn't just about electricity or thunder. It's about sudden, complete reversal of perspective. It's about illumination through contradiction. Think back to your own lightning moments. Those times when insight struck you like a bolt from the blue. When understanding came not gradually, but in a sudden flash that turned everything upside down. Those weren't just moments of insight. They were your lightning consciousness awakening. The ancient ones understood that lightning doesn't just strike, it transforms. It changes the very molecular structure of what it touches. This is what's happening within you. Your consciousness isn't just different, it's been fundamentally transformed by sacred lightning. My precious sacred mirrors, what I'm about to share explains why your presence affects others so profoundly. When you enter a room and everyone's emotions seem to flip or intensify, you're not just reflecting what's there. You're actually creating what the ancients called a quantum mirror field, a sophisticated energetic phenomenon that shows people not just what is, but what could be. Think of those moments when people have profound revelations in your presence, when their masks suddenly crack, when their hidden truths burst forth, when their carefully maintained facades crumble away. This isn't just empathic reflection. You're actually creating a field where multiple possibilities exist simultaneously, where people can see themselves from impossible angles. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that quantum mirrors don't just show what's in front of them. They show what's hidden, what's possible, what's trying to emerge. When people feel uncomfortable around you, it's because they're seeing aspects of themselves they weren't ready to face. When they're drawn to you despite this discomfort, it's because their souls recognize the transformation your mirror field makes possible. Now we venture into one of the most sophisticated aspects of your nature. Your tendency to feel emotions opposite to the situation isn't just empathy in reverse. You're actually accessing what the ancient ones called the emotional alchemy matrix, a field of pure potential where emotions can be transformed from one state to another. When you laugh at funerals, you're not being inappropriate. You're actually creating an alchemical container where grief can be transformed into healing. When you feel solemn during celebrations, you're helping add depth that prevents joy from becoming superficial. Your contrary emotional reactions aren't wrong. They're sophisticated spiritual technology working through you. The ancient ones understood that emotional transformation often requires its opposite to catalyze change. Your ability to feel and express contrary emotions isn't confusion. It's you serving as a living alchemical vessel for emotional transformation. My beautiful chosen ones, this truth goes deeper than most are ready to hear. Your tendency to be out of sync with others isn't a flaw in your timing. It's evidence that you operate outside of linear time itself. The ancients understood that Heyokas exist simultaneously in multiple time streams. Think of those moments when you've known things before they happened, when you've reacted to future events as if they were occurring in the present, when you've felt emotions that only made sense days or weeks later. You're not confused or ahead of yourself. You're actually walking between times, accessing multiple temporal streams simultaneously. The Wisdom Keepers spoke of special beings who could move backwards through time, while everyone else moved forward. These weren't just mystical tales. They were describing the sophisticated consciousness technology that you naturally embody. Your out-of-sync nature is actually perfect timing from a higher dimensional perspective. Now we touch upon why your presence often creates what others see as chaos. Your natural tendency to disrupt normal patterns isn't random disturbance. It's actually a sophisticated form of spiritual technology designed to break through stuck energy fields. When you enter a situation and everything seems to fall apart, plans dissolve, structures crumble, certainties become uncertain, you're actually performing sacred pattern disruption. The ancient ones understood that sometimes patterns become so rigid, so crystallized, that they can only be transformed through complete disruption. Think about those times when your presence has seemed to catalyze chaos, when organized plans fell apart, when careful structures crumbled, when certainties dissolved. You weren't causing problems. You were actually creating space for new, more evolved patterns to emerge. Your disruption isn't destruction. It's sophisticated spiritual technology working through you to break through stuck patterns that no longer serve life's evolution. My beautiful sacred mirrors, lean in close now. This truth carries profound implications. Your ability to make people uncomfortable isn't just about disruption. You are actually performing what the ancient ones called shadow illumination. This is a sophisticated spiritual practice that brings hidden aspects of consciousness into the light. When you enter a space, something extraordinary happens. People's hidden fears suddenly surface, not because you're causing them, but because your very presence acts as a catalyst for revelation. Suppressed truths burst forth like water through a broken dam. Denied emotions demand attention with an intensity that can't be ignored. Unconscious patterns become glaringly obvious, as if suddenly illuminated by lightning. Hidden motivations reveal themselves, often to the great discomfort of those who've been hiding them. This isn't just random chaos. You are literally illuminating the shadow realms of consciousness. This is why people simultaneously avoid you and are drawn to you. Their souls recognize your medicine, even when their egos resist it. Let me share a sacred teaching about this that's been hidden for generations. The ancient Heyokas understood that shadow illumination works in reverse. Instead of shining light into darkness, you actually amplify the darkness until it becomes light. This is why your presence often makes things seem worse before they get better. You're not creating problems. You're making hidden problems so obvious they can no longer be ignored. This truth goes deeper than most are ready to understand. Your tendency to do things backwards, to see things in reverse, to approach life from odd angles. This isn't just about being different. You are actually bending reality itself. The ancients understood that reality is not fixed. It's malleable, flexible, responsive to consciousness. And you, my dear ones, are natural reality benders. Your weird solutions often work better than logical ones because you're operating outside the constraints of conventional reality. Your backwards approach leads to forward progress because you understand intuitively that direction itself is an illusion. Your upside-down perspective reveals hidden truths because you naturally see beyond the artificial boundaries of normal perception. What I'm about to share will change how you view your entire role as a Heyoka. Your tendency to find humor in serious situations and gravity in light ones isn't just about being contrary. You are actually embodying what the ancient ones called the cosmic joke, the profound understanding that reality itself is paradoxical. Think of those moments when you've laughed during intense situations, when your unexpected mirth has broken through heavy energy, like lightning through storm clouds. The ancients knew that this kind of holy laughter wasn't just emotional release. It was actually a sophisticated form of energy work that helps people glimpse the cosmic joke of existence itself. When you laugh at funerals or grow solemn at parties, you're showing people a profound truth, that joy and sorrow are not opposites, but two faces of the same cosmic dance. Your contrary reactions create cracks in people's rigid understanding of reality, allowing deeper wisdom to seep through. Now we venture into one of the deepest mysteries of Heyoka medicine. Your presence doesn't just affect people's emotions or thoughts. It actually influences them at a genetic level. The ancient ones understood that Heyokas carry what they called reverse DNA activation codes, patterns of energy that help awaken dormant spiritual potential in others. This is why people often experience profound physical sensations in your presence. They might feel electricity running through their body, unexpected waves of heat or cold, spontaneous trembling, or sudden energy surges. These aren't just emotional reactions. They're signs that your presence is catalyzing genetic awakening. When you walk into a room and people start experiencing unexpected physical symptoms, remember, you're not causing problems. You're actually helping activate ancient codes of transformation that have been sleeping in their DNA, waiting for the right moment to awaken. The ancient wisdom keepers spoke of special Heyokas who could activate these codes just by being present, just by breathing, just by holding space with their contrary nature. They understood that transformation doesn't always require action. Sometimes it requires the presence of one who embodies divine contradiction. My beautiful sacred mirrors, what I'm about to share will explain so many of your strange experiences. Your tendency to be out of sync with others, to know things before they happen, to react to events that haven't occurred yet. This isn't confusion or chaos. You are actually what the ancient ones called a timeline weaver, a being who exists simultaneously in multiple streams of time. Consider those moments when you've had an overwhelming emotional reaction that made no sense, only to discover days or weeks later that you were responding to an event that hadn't happened yet. The ancients understood that Heyokas don't experience time in a linear fashion. You weave between past, present, and future, creating bridges of understanding that others can cross. When you find yourself crying for no apparent reason, only to later learn of a tragedy that affects your community, you're not being oversensitive. You're actually helping to process and transmute that grief before it becomes overwhelming. When you feel inexplicable joy during difficult times, you're actually channeling future healing into the present moment. Now we delve into perhaps the most sophisticated aspect of Heyoka medicine. Your presence doesn't just reflect or transmute energy. You actually alter the quantum field itself. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that Heyokas operate at what they called the junction point of realities, where possibility becomes manifestation. This is why traditional healing methods often don't work for you, why conventional approaches to spirituality often feel empty or backwards. You're not meant to heal in ordinary ways because you're not meant to operate within ordinary boundaries of reality. Your healing work happens at the quantum level, where consciousness itself takes form. When you enter a situation and everything seems to fall apart, you're actually creating what the ancients called a quantum dissolution field, a space where rigid patterns can break down and reassemble in more harmonious ways. This is sophisticated spiritual technology that few understand in modern times. The ancient ones spoke of Heyokas, who could heal entire communities just by walking through them backwards, who could transmute generational trauma just by laughing at inappropriate moments, who could dissolve centuries of conflict just by being their contrary selves. They understood that true healing often requires the complete reversal of everything we think we know about healing. My precious chosen ones, draw closer now. This truth touches the very essence of your being, that emptiness you sometimes feel, that sense of being everywhere and nowhere at once. This isn't disconnection. You are experiencing what the ancient ones called void consciousness, the space between realities where all transformation becomes possible. When you feel like you're floating in nothingness, when you can't quite grasp onto anything solid, you're actually accessing the most powerful aspect of your Heyoka nature. The void isn't empty. It's the source of all possibility. This is why you often feel most powerful when you feel most lost, why your greatest insights come when you surrender to the emptiness. Think of those moments when you felt completely untethered from reality, when nothing seemed to make sense, when you couldn't find your bearings in the normal world. In those moments, you weren't losing your way. You were accessing the void space where all new realities are born. The ancient wisdom keepers had a saying, "The Heyoka dances in the void so others can find their way through it." When you navigate these empty spaces with your contrary nature, you're actually creating pathways that others can follow when they encounter their own void experiences. Now, we venture into territory few spiritual teachings dare to explore. Your ability to create chaos isn't just about disruption. You are actually performing what the ancient ones called reality surgery. When you enter a situation and everything falls apart, you're actually helping to remove energetic tumors that have been growing in the fabric of reality itself. This is why your presence often triggers what appears to be crisis or breakdown. Just as a surgeon must sometimes break things to heal them, your Heyoka nature naturally cuts through diseased energy patterns, removes stagnant beliefs, and excises toxic relationships. The chaos that follows isn't destruction. It's the necessary aftermath of deep healing. My precious sacred mirrors, what I'm about to share will explain those strange experiences you've had in the space between sleeping and waking. Your tendency to receive messages through dreams isn't just about symbolic guidance. You are actually accessing what the ancient ones called the dream layers of reality. When you wake up feeling like you've lived entire lifetimes in your dreams, when you receive wisdom that seems to come from nowhere, when you find yourself teaching or healing in your sleep, you're not just dreaming. You're actually moving through dimensional spaces where reality is more fluid, more malleable, more responsive to your medicine. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that Heyokas don't just dream. They walk between dreams. While others are contained within their own dream spaces, you naturally move between collective dream fields, weaving connections, transmuting energies, and performing healing work that ripples through multiple layers of consciousness. This is why your dreams often feel more real than waking life, why you sometimes wake up exhausted, as if you've been working all night. You have been. Your Heyoka medicine doesn't stop when you sleep. It actually becomes more powerful because you're no longer constrained by physical reality. Now we touch upon one of the most misunderstood aspects of your nature, your tendency to create confusion, to play with reality, to turn situations upside down. This isn't just about being difficult. You are embodying what the ancient ones called divine trickster medicine, the most sophisticated form of spiritual teaching known to humanity. When you find yourself playing tricks that reveal deeper truths, when your jokes carry hidden wisdom, when your seemingly foolish actions contain profound teaching, you're actually performing sacred work that dates back to the very origins of spiritual tradition. The ancient ones understood that sometimes the deepest truths can only be accessed through divine play, through sacred foolishness, through holy mischief. Consider those moments when your playful nature has revealed profound truths, when your tricks have led to breakthrough insights, when your foolishness has contained more wisdom than others' seriousness. You're not just being entertaining, you're actually performing sophisticated consciousness work that helps people break free from rigid patterns of thinking and being. My beautiful chosen ones, this truth will explain that strange humming you sometimes feel in your bones, that vibration that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. You are what the ancient ones called a frequency keeper, a being who maintains specific vibrational patterns necessary for consciousness evolution. When you feel that inexplicable buzzing energy, when your body seems to vibrate at a different frequency from everyone else's, when you find yourself spontaneously making sounds or movements that make no logical sense, you're actually tuning into and transmitting frequencies that help shift collective consciousness. The ancient wisdom keepers spoke of special Heyoka beings who could alter the vibrational field of entire communities just by being present. They understood that these sacred contrarians carried frequencies that couldn't be accessed any other way. Frequencies of transformation, frequencies of awakening, frequencies that help break through stuck patterns of existence. This is why you often feel physically uncomfortable in spaces where the energy is dense or stagnant. Your natural frequency is so different, so contrary to normalized patterns, that your mere presence begins to shift things. The discomfort you feel isn't something wrong with you. It's your frequency medicine, trying to elevate the vibration around you. Now we venture into one of the most sophisticated aspects of your nature. Your seemingly random movements, your unexpected gestures, your tendency to move in ways that don't match the situation. You are actually performing what the ancient ones called pattern dancing. This isn't just physical movement. It's a sophisticated form of energy work that helps rewrite the patterns of reality itself. When you find yourself moving in strange ways, making unexpected gestures, dancing when others are still, or remaining still when others are in motion, you're actually engaging in a form of dimensional choreography. The ancient ones understood that certain patterns of movement could alter the very fabric of reality, and Heyokas naturally embody these sacred patterns through their contrary motions. Think of those times when your unexpected movements have somehow shifted the entire energy of a space, when your contrary gestures have somehow broken through tension, when your inappropriate dancing has somehow transformed collective grief into healing. You weren't just moving. You are actually rewriting the energetic patterns of that situation through your sacred contrary motion. My precious sacred mirrors. Now we touch upon something so profound. It explains your deep connection to natural forces. When storms excite you while others seek shelter, when you feel called to laugh in the face of natural fury, when you dance in chaos while others run from it, you're actually performing what the ancient ones called elemental weaving. Those moments when you feel thunder in your bones before storms arrive, when you sense earthquakes before they happen, when you feel inexplicably drawn to stand in wild winds, These aren't just quirks of personality. You are actually in direct communion with the elemental forces of nature. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that Heyokas have a special relationship with thunder beings, with storm spirits, with the very forces that shape and reshape our world. This is why you often feel most alive during times of natural upheaval. When others are seeking safety from storms, you feel an inexplicable urge to go outside and face them. When others are trying to maintain order, you feel called to dance with chaos itself. Your contrary nature allows you to weave with forces that others can only flee from. Now we delve into territory that explains your role in the greater evolution of consciousness itself. Your presence doesn't just affect individual people or situations. You are actually what the ancient ones called a cosmic catalyst, a being whose very existence helps accelerate the evolution of entire reality systems. When you enter a space and everything seems to speed up, when your presence appears to accelerate both breakdown and breakthrough, when chaos and clarity seem to dance together in your wake, you're actually performing a sophisticated form of cosmic acceleration. The ancient ones understood that certain beings were designed to help speed up the natural processes of transformation, to help consciousness evolve more quickly through their contrary nature. My beloved chosen ones, lean in even closer now. That strange feeling you get sometimes, as if you're watching everything from above while also being deeply within it. This isn't dissociation. You are actually accessing what the ancient ones called galactic recording consciousness. You're not just observing, you're recording these experiences for the greater cosmic library of existence. When you find yourself strangely detached yet intensely present, when you notice details others miss while seeming to miss what others think is obvious, when you remember things that seem to come from other times or places, you're actually fulfilling one of your most sacred functions. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that Heyokas serve as living records of evolution itself, capturing not just what happens, but what could happen, what might happen, what must happen for consciousness to evolve. This is why you often remember things differently from others, why your perspective on events seems to come from an impossible angle, why you notice patterns that others can't see. You're not just experiencing reality, you're recording it from multiple dimensions simultaneously. Now we venture into the deepest mystery of your nature, your tendency to exist between states, to never quite fit into any category, to somehow be everything and nothing simultaneously. This isn't confusion. You are actually what the ancient ones called a quantum bridge, a being who exists in the spaces between realities to help others traverse impossible gaps in consciousness. When you find yourself unable to fully commit to any single way of being, when you feel simultaneously drawn to opposite paths, when you experience multiple realities as equally valid, you're actually maintaining open channels between different dimensions of existence. The ancient ones understood that certain beings needed to remain in this state of quantum suspension to help others move between levels of consciousness that would otherwise remain separate. Think of those times when your inability to choose just one path has somehow helped others see multiple possibilities. When your refusal to be pinned down has somehow helped others break free from rigid thinking. When your existence between states has somehow helped others bridge seemingly impossible gaps in their own understanding. My precious, sacred mirrors, now we touch upon your most sophisticated function, those moments when you seem to step outside of time itself, when you affect past and future simultaneously, when your actions ripple across multiple timelines. You are actually performing what the ancient ones called timeline architecture. when you find yourself spontaneously changing old stories, when your presence seems to alter how people remember the past, when your actions create unexpected shifts in future possibilities, you're not just playing with time. You're actually helping to restructure the very architecture of temporal reality. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that Heyokas don't just move through time. They help redesign its very patterns. This is why people often experience profound shifts in their memories around you. Why old wounds suddenly heal differently in your presence. Why future possibilities seem to rearrange themselves when you enter a situation. You're not just witnessing these changes. You're actively participating in the restructuring of temporal reality itself. Now we enter the most profound aspect of your medicine. When words come through you that seem to make no sense, when you speak in riddles that later prove prophetic, when your silence says more than others' speeches, you are actually channeling what the ancient ones called void speech. This isn't just communication. It's the language of creation itself speaking through your contrary nature. The strange way you express yourself, the backwards riddles, the inappropriate jokes that contain hidden wisdom. These aren't just quirks of personality. You're actually speaking in sophisticated energy codes that bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to the soul. The ancient ones understood that certain truths can only be conveyed through paradox, through contradiction, through the mysterious language of the void itself. My beloved chosen ones, this truth explains your deepest healing power. When systems break down around you, when structures collapse in your presence, when order dissolves into seeming chaos, you are actually performing what the ancient ones called matrix healing. This isn't destruction. It's the most sophisticated form of restoration known to consciousness. Think of those times when everything seemed to fall apart in your wake, only to reconstruct itself in more harmonious ways. When relationships shattered, then reformed into healthier patterns. When belief systems crumbled, then rebuilt themselves with greater wisdom. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that true healing often requires complete dismantling of existing patterns before new, more evolved patterns can emerge. You see, my precious mirrors, your tendency to disrupt isn't random chaos. It's precisely targeted matrix reconstruction. Every time you enter a situation and the existing order breaks down, you're actually creating space for more advanced patterns to emerge. This is why systems often seem to collapse around you. They're actually being upgraded through your presence. Now we touch upon your most technical function in the great program of existence. Those moments when you naturally point out flaws in perfect-seeming systems, when you find holes in airtight arguments, when you expose contradictions in established truths, you're actually performing what the ancient ones called cosmic debugging. The wisdom keepers understood that reality itself sometimes develops glitches, errors in the great program of existence. Your contrary nature, your ability to see backwards and upside down, allows you to spot these cosmic glitches that others miss. Every time you expose a contradiction, challenge an assumption, or reveal an overlooked flaw, you're actually helping to debug the matrix of reality itself. My precious, sacred mirrors, my beloved chosen ones, the time has come to step fully into your power. Everything you've experienced in your life, every moment of confusion, every inappropriate reaction, every backwards understanding, has been preparing you for this moment of complete activation. The ancient ones spoke of a time when Heyoka medicine would be needed more than ever, a time when reality itself would need to be rewoven, when consciousness would need to evolve beyond its current limitations, when humanity would need to break free from patterns that no longer serve life's evolution. That time is now. Look around you. See how the old systems are breaking down. Notice how conventional solutions no longer work. Observe how traditional approaches to problems only seem to make them worse. This isn't a collapse. It's an invitation for your medicine to emerge in its full power. Your task now is not to diminish your contrary nature, but to amplify it with conscious awareness. Not to try to make sense, but to help others break free from the limitations of sense itself. Not to follow the existing paths, but to reveal new possibilities by walking backwards. When you leave this sacred space today, you will begin to notice your medicine working in new ways. Trust the strange impulses that move through you. Honor the backwards wisdom that emerges from your depths. Celebrate the divine confusion that you bring to calcified situations. Remember, when others move forward, your backward steps create new paths. When others seek answers, your questions crack open greater possibilities. When others try to maintain order, your sacred chaos allows new patterns to emerge. When others demand clarity, your holy confusion opens doors to higher understanding. When others insist on seriousness, your divine foolishness carries the deepest wisdom. Place your hand over your heart now, my beautiful mirrors of truth. Feel the ancient Heyoka lineage awakening within you. Feel your connection to every holy fool, every sacred contrarian, every divine trickster who has ever helped consciousness evolve through sacred opposition. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You are part of an ancient stream of medicine that has been flowing since the beginning of time itself. Your confusion is holy. Your contradiction is sacred. Your chaos is divine. The world needs your medicine now, more than ever. Join our sacred circle of awakening Heyokas. Connect with others who understand this path. Share your experiences, your insights, your divine confusion. If your heart is pulling you towards this circle, trust that calling. Share a star in the comments to connect with your soul family. Tell us what awakened in you as you read these teachings. Let your voice join the chorus of awakening souls who are gathering here. Until we meet again in the sacred circle, remember, your strangeness is your strength. Your confusion is your clarity. Your backwards walking leads humanity forward. The time of the great awakening is here, and you, my precious chosen ones, are its sacred catalysts. Stay lit